Hoi allemaal! Vandaag heb ik een echt bijzondere video voor jullie. Ik doe de hele video in het Nederlands. Niet de hele video, dat is een beetje te moeilijk voor mij. Maar ik doe een deel van deze video in het Nederlands. Ik was echt bang om deze video te maken, omdat ik Nederlands niet veel spreek. En deze video heeft veel fouten. Maar ik probeer het. Nee. Ja, this is part of language learning. Welkom terug of welkom naar mijn YouTube kanaal. Ik ben Via en ik woon in Nederland. Ik woon in een kleine dorp, heet Gouda. Dat is de kaasdorp. Kaasdorp? Of niet een dorp, dat is een stad. Het is een kaasstad. Ja, een kleine stad in Zuid-Holland. Ik moet in maart 2026 een grote examen in Nederlands doen. Dat is niveau B1 en dat is niet een makkelijk examen. Maar ik moet deze examen doen voor spreken, luisteren, lezen, schrijven en KNM. En ja, ik moet oefenen voor deze examen. Nederlands is niet een makkelijke taal. Het is een beetje zoals Duits. En het is anders van Engels. Dus het structuur is anders van Engels. Sommige woorden zijn hetzelfde of bla 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 bla. What is that word? Similar. Oké. Google Translate. Ja. Sommige woorden zijn vergelijkbaar van Engels, maar ja, het structuur is anders. In Engels zeg je I went to the supermarket yesterday. En soms in het Nederlands zeg je I yesterday to the supermarket went. Dat is een kleine voorbeeld voor jullie. Terug naar Engels. Okay guys, so that was my little attempt of speaking Dutch. I have a long journey to go with speaking. As I explained a while ago, I have a B1 exam to do, which is not upper intermediate, but just an intermediate level exam. So right now, with my journey with Dutch, it has been really up and down. I've been in the Netherlands for 3 years now. In my first year, I kind of was just learning really basic things like spoon, fork, plate, hello, goodbye, how are you, like really basic. And I felt like I wasted my first year when I could have been using that to like really intentionally learn the language to help prepare myself for this big exam that I need to do. So for the past 2 years, I have been more intentionally trying to learn Dutch at a higher level by sometimes taking courses or speaking more or intentionally doing something online or learning. But it has been quite difficult. I would say I can understand a lot of Dutch. I can write it pretty decent, but speaking, that is the tough part. Because if you're learning a language and you don't speak it, it's almost impossible to speak it if you don't try. So I am intentionally trying now. That's a key word of this video, by the way, intention. I'm now trying to practice more, to speak more, to get me to this level that I need to be. So as I mentioned previously as well, I need to do my exam in March next year. Well, actually not do the exam in March next year. That's my deadline. My goal is to do it before March. So my goal is to do this exam by September, October this year. Because in the Netherlands, if you don't do the exam by your deadline, you will get fined. Until you do it and until you pass. So I kind of want to share with you guys my journey of learning Dutch. We will do some check-ins as we go along these next few months just to see how my progress is going, what I'm doing to study and to prepare for this exam, where I am so far, and yeah, just giving updates on this language journey, and then hopefully in the end some very positive exam results as well. So I have done courses in B1 already, so I would say my listening, maybe my writing and my reading is at B1 level, but my speaking is still behind, like maybe A2 level, just because, as I mentioned, I don't practice enough, I don't speak Dutch enough, so it's hard for it to progress. And for the exam, I need to be B1 level for all areas, so speaking, reading, writing, and listening. So that is my goal for this journey for the next few months. It's almost March, so I have a few months to prepare, and I'm going to show you guys my plan and structure to prepare for this exam in September or October this year. So before we get into the structure, for me, what's very important when you are trying to achieve a goal, I like to have a bit of a plan and an idea of what I'm working towards. So I kind of wanted to know what each exam entails, what that looks like, what's the passing score. I think that's also very important. So I'm going to share that with you, especially for those people who also need to do this exam. This can be very helpful to you, so you know where you need to be at. So for the reading exam, you have 110 minutes to do this exam. And you have 40 multiple choice questions based on various texts. I have found on YouTube some practice exams that you can do. I can post that in the link below as well. And then for the reading exam, the passing criteria, you need to answer 65% of the questions correctly in order to pass. So that's a bit above halfway point. And I think that's doable if you practice quite well. That you can at least pass. I mean, I would love to have a high grade just to say that I did really well, but honestly, passing is pretty good enough. So the next exam is a listening exam that you have a duration of 90 minutes. It's also 40 multiple choice questions based on audio fragments. So you hear an audio and then they're gonna ask you questions based on that, and then you also need 60 to 65% answers answered correctly to pass. Then there's a writing exam, 100 minutes. You have 14 tasks. This is just approximately, by the way, it can change over the years. But then you have 10 short exercises based on grammar, and then you have a form filling task, and then you have 3 longer writing assignments. So that can be writing a letter or a story or something like that. And then yeah, it's assessed based on your grammar, vocabulary, and that type of thing, so there's not really a percentage for that. And there's speaking, you have 30 minutes for that, and there's like yeah, responses to prompts and questions. So you might hear a question or see a prompt and then you need to answer it. It's also assessed based on the pronunciation, the grammar, the vocabulary, and so on, fluency as well. And then the last exam is the KNM, so the KNM, Kennis van de Nederlandse Maatschappij, and that is for 45 minutes. And then there's also 40 multiple choice questions. This is about Dutch customs, culture, education system, healthcare, that type of thing. And then you need 26 out of those 40 questions correct to pass that exam. So now that I've shared with you what the exams look like in terms of the assessment, but also yeah, how many questions each section has and what they entail, I've created for myself a plan for 12 weeks, so 3 months, that will help me prepare to do the exam hopefully in September, October. Of course, it's not in September in 3 months, so I do have more time, but if I can get this out of the way and maybe do it again before then, that will be very helpful. So I'm gonna kind of show you a bit of that structure as well. So from week 1 to 2, by the way, I've used ChatGPT to help me to create this structure, and it has been really insightful, and I think it will help me really prepare for that exam. So the first week 1 and 2, it's kind of familiarizing with that structure that I just showed you or just told you about for the exam, knowing how many questions, what's the passing rate, so I can kind of get in my head where I need to be. Doing mock tests to kind of see where you are, if you're able to handle it already. and setting goals. So for me, my goal is to do the exam by September or October, but also setting your weekly goals. So for example, from week 1 to 2, I'm going to focus on this part. And then it suggests to learn high frequency words, so at least 500 B1 level words to kind of broaden your vocabulary, because when you do these exams you're going to come across a lot of bigger words, so it's good to have like a broad vocabulary, and this suggests minimum 500 vocab words. Reviewing essential grammar, so sentence structure, verb conjugation, tenses, that's also key. And then also practicing common phrases for real life situations, so just things that the Dutch people say a lot, getting more familiar with, and not just with like a how are you, I'm doing good, you know, more in-depth sayings. So you really need to listen a lot to hear kind of what they say. So week 3 to 6 is the intensive part, more in-depth. So that's reading, that is reading news articles, blogs, short stories, trying to do this daily. Also practicing comprehension, so reading comprehensions, because this is a big part of the reading exam as well. You will get a comprehension and then you need to answer questions based on that, so you need a lot of vocabulary. For listening, it suggests listening to Dutch radio, podcasts, TV shows, YouTube videos with subtitles, and also practicing exam style listening skills. So that's where those videos, those YouTube videos can come in handy. Preparing for that B1 exam, they have already a lot of these listening exercises. For writing, writing short texts, so emails, complaints, summaries, event descriptions, talking about how your summer went, how your day went, you went shopping, or explaining something, and using linking words instead of short sentences. And then it also says get feedback from a tutor or language partner. So if you can practice this writing exercises, get somebody who's a native speaker to kind of look over them, tell you where you went wrong, make corrections, and try to improve from there. And finally, this is still week 3 to 6, is a speaking aspect, and it says to practice with a language buddy, a tutor, an online community. So find somebody that you can practice with, preferably a native speaker, I think, because if you practice with somebody who doesn't speak it as well, you kind of don't know how to correct each other, or you don't know if they're correct. So I would suggest practicing with a native speaker and really focus on your pronunciation, your fluency, and structuring answers correctly. And finally, for week 7 to 8, that is for the KNM Knowledge of Dutch Society exam. And it says just study the Dutch customs, healthcare, education, housing, watch Dutch government videos. They also have KNM courses apparently, and then practice with a sample exam. So I think you can find a lot of this information online. This also goes by memory, but also knowing what is being asked of you, because they're going to ask you the questions in Dutch. You need to answer them in Dutch. So as we go along with my Nederlandse avontuur, I am going to try to do a video weekly to show my progress with this 3-week plan. Was it 3 weeks? Oh, sorry, 12-week plan, 3 months. I'm going to show you guys how I actually break this down and make it more realistic, because you have the plan now. It's how you're going to carry that out. I'm going to make videos on that. I'll try to do it weekly so you guys can see that I'm actually doing something, and also record my progress. I'll try to speak a bit of Dutch in each video as well to practice my speaking skills, and just show you guys how I'm really bringing this all together. I hope to be really improved within these 12 weeks, closer to my goal as well. And I will try to start with a practice exam to see kind of what score I get, and then do a practice like a few weeks after to kind of see that progress there as well. It's not easy to be disciplined all the time, so yeah, if you go under it sometimes, that's understandable. If you can have somebody who can really push you to do things, that's really helpful, and setting aside the time. For me, myself, I don't know yet how I'm going to delegate my time for that and set it aside to make sure that I don't get demotivated, but I can also give tips once I do figure that out, and also share how I do that. Okay guys, that is the end of this video. I hope this was very helpful to you. If you are one who is also preparing for your B1 exam, I wish you all the best. If you want to reach out to me, we can share tips and ideas or even practice together. Feel free to send me a message. I'll be glad to share some resources with you. I can also recommend some courses in the description below that are not too expensive that can also help you if you say self-study is not for me because I'm not disciplined enough, then a course might be really helpful to you. Let me know in the comments as well if you are somebody who's also planning to do this exam this year or maybe next year. Feel free to share tips. I would love to hear from you guys as well. I'm also on this journey trying to figure out how to master Dutch. We are in this journey together and I hope that we can help each other. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, be sure to subscribe and follow me on my journey and give this video a thumbs up as well. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great week. Bye!